Good day, everyone. Welcome back to our video lecture. And this is still your teacher, Miss Mars. And on today's video lecture, I will be talking about the features and the layout of a front page portion of a newspaper. So this is still the continuation of our subject, the lecture for our subject, campus journalism. So without further ado, let's begin. This time, allow me to share my screen for everyone. So we have here topic newspaper layout and features of a front page. And we all know that the things you are seeing here on the screen, this one, the Asian Age, Daily Express, obviously these are sample of front page of a newspaper. And in this lecture, we are going to explore and identify the different features of a front page of a newspaper. So let's start with the layout first of the front page. So if you notice in this area here, we would usually see the newspaper name. So this one, the first, and then we have the logo. So of course, the company has a logo that they are going to include in their front page or in the newspaper. And we have here the date, the price of the newspaper, the issue, and the volume for perhaps. So this very narrow row in here. And then we have, after this one, we do have the story headline. Later on, you would know how do we call these things. We do have the story headline, which of course, the one in the biggest font in terms of the font size. And then we have the main article splash, and then the main picture relating to the article. And we do have here the heading, and then the small story. And this portion below the main picture relating to the article is another heading. And then we do have here the main splash article. It is being continued. A portion of the story of the article will be continued here. And then lastly, below the front page of the newspaper is obviously the advertisement. So companies paid newspaper company to advertise their products or their services and the likes. And you can find it here below based on this layout here. And let's try to proceed. Now, there are terminologies that we are going to unlock as we move forward, and these are the things: nameplate, flag or masthead, what is dateline and price, and earlier we were able to see the dateline and the price. And then we do have here also the skybox, the teasers, cover splash, and the coat, ears of the newspaper of the front page, and then pointer, headline, splash, subhead, stand, verse, deck, off lead. And then we do have the byline, the lead, the caption, the main image or the cut, the jump line, the backstory, the straight line, and we have the advertisement. Now let's try to explore each of them. Okay, we do have first, before anything else, we do have here also a sample of a front page with different features. And then obviously it is well marked, and so that we would know how do we call this portion of a newspaper and this area that shows this specific information. So we have here the skybox and the code. Okay, so for example, the verdict is in Johnson is a liar and he should pay the price. And then we do have here also the pointer. So the pointer is here below or the side of the skybox. And obviously, the name, the guardian, this is the flag, or we call it also masthead. But later on, since in my previous video, I mentioned about masthead, where you can find the different staff, the editorial staff of the newspaper, I will explain that because it is still a masthead. Now we do have here the dateline and price. So in the dateline and price, you can find obviously the date and then how much is the price of the magazine or the newsletter. Now, this is obviously the headline or the splash, the biggest, this one, which really is for grounded. So by the time you would read a newspaper, you would see the headlines right away, right? If you would buy it. Now we do have here the stand first or the deck. So the stand first, this is the portion here of the stand first and the deck. And then we do have here the byline. So for the stand first, just going back, all three of this in bullet form, they are examples. And then we have the byline here, of course, the author of the article, and then we have the lead. So you know the lead paragraph of your the lead paragraph of your news article. And we do have here the caption. So if you notice, the text just below, these are really small, but the text below the image of Boris Johnson is actually what we call this the caption. Now we have the headline splash or the headline and the main image or the cut. So the main image, this is now the image that we put in the middle. So the main image or the cut, since it is related to the main article. And then we do have here the lead as well. And then we have the jump line, this one, the black one. This is the jump line. And the jump lights, like you are going to go to the next, like for the example, this one inside. So it's a symbolism that the next box would definitely be talking about something different. Then we do have here the contents index, and then we have the pointer, the one with the page 7, blah, blah, blah. Depends on what page number you're going to continue reading, so you can, since it is continuation of the article that you've read. And then we have the strap line and the backstory. So this is the backstory. Now, we always remember, class, that there are some newsletter or newspaper magazine that don't have, some or few of the features here on the sample. So don't worry about that. For example, we could not find ears in here, right? Now, let's try to delve deeper in every feature through this discussion. So let's start with the nameplate, the flag, or the masthead. So for example, the newspaper is the Times of India. The Times of India is the nameplate. That's also known as the flag or the masthead. Now, the nameplate or masthead of a newspaper or periodical is its design title as it appears on the front page of the cover. So you have to make sure that your title, the title of your newspaper is really catchy as well, especially now that it should really be catchy. Now, there is another prevalent term for it in a newspaper. We call it also the flag. So the nameplate is also known as the flag. And in a magazine or a newspaper, you may see the masthead. The masthead here, also called a nameplate on the cover of front page. But in a newsletter, it may be on the inside, often with slightly different elements. So that's why don't be confused, class. In the previous lecture that I recorded, of course, I mentioned about masthead, but the meaning of masthead is actually the masthead one, this one, the section of a newsletter, typically found on the second page, but could be on any page that lists the name of the publisher, the contact information, the subscription rates, and other pertinent data. So it is the definition of the masthead, this definition that I was able to cater or I was able to discuss. Now we also have masthead 2. So an alternate name for the nameplate of a magazine or newspaper. So always remember, we're talking about newsletter here in masthead 1, but if it's 2, and this is created to have the alternate name for our nameplate or magazine or newspaper. So that is the masthead 2. Now we do have here the dateline and price. So earlier in the front page, we kind of see it already. And in fact, in the sample also, we saw already a dateline. So a dateline, it is of course somewhere you can find the date which a news report is filed or the date of the publication of the newspaper. Now, price the piece of text above and beside or below the masthead of a newspaper. We indicate here the price or prices of the newspaper for a particular edition or multiple editions for different cities. Now we have here another feature is the Skybox or the teasers. So for the Skybox or the teasers, the Skybox or teasers class, always remember, this is actually a promotional box, which can be located above, below, or besides the flag or masthead. So where is our masthead? Where is our nameplate? Of course, it's this one, the Financial Times. Now, what they are looking into is that we are looking into a promotional box that would have the below or besides the flag or the masthead. So where is our promotional box? So this one, Rage in America, Open Windows, and Lucy Callaway. These are our promotional box. Now we have here teasers are also called as the front cover splash. Just too many terminologies, but we could be able to do it. So teachers are also called as the front cover splash. Now, the white space above or beside the masthead is called the ear. So this one, these are all ears. These two, no, all the news that's fit to print. So I'd like to suggest that we basically just be very what I'm saying is we just have to be very keen if your newspaper or newsletter has ears. Now we do know this is the headline, right? That's the headline. Next, we do have here the pointer. So obviously this one, like this is a piece of text which points to the page where the reader can find the news or information in detail. So this is the pointer. Now let's proceed to the headline. The headline class, it's easy, of course. It's the in terms of size, it's the biggest in terms of the size of the letters. And the headline is the title of a newspaper article that is printed in large letters above the story. So like this one, none of us will ever forget, right? And then we have here the splash. Splash, cover, splash, cover, splash, standoff, subhead, and off lead. So the splash, it is the lead story. So remember, splash is the lead story, and stand first, it's an introductory paragraph in an article printed in larger or bolder type or in capitals, which summarizes the article. And last is off lead, second most important story. So splash is the lead story, stand first, introductory paragraph in an article, which is printed in larger or bolder type or in capitals. So we're looking into the paragraphs here, introductory. And then off lead, second most important story. So we do have here an example of a front page. Okay. We have the dateline, the masthead. Okay. Next is the byline. So the byline, it's very simple to understand. When we say byline, it is a short phrase that indicates the name of one author, reporter, journalist of a specific article. So for example, this one, this is byline. And we do have here also a lot of write-ups where there is by and then the name below the title of the write-up or literary work. So this is here. This is an example of byline, the one that is encircled in violet. Okay, next, the lead. The lead is also very important as it is an opening paragraph and it's the most important part of the news story. Why is it? Because by just merely reading the lead, you already have an idea on what is going on. So the lead would answer the questions, the 5 W's and the H, and these are the following questions: who, what, when, where, why, and how. And good leads actually answer so many questions as possible in the opening paragraph. So for example, in this article by William Broom, Reader News Service, so this is an example of our lead, like Washington, Richard M. Nixon declaring he had lost the support of Congress, resigned the presidency Thursday night, conceding only that he was guilty of some judgment. Okay, now let's proceed to the caption. The caption is so easy to understand. In fact, you have been doing this one when you post some works in your social media or other centers. So the words that are written above or below a picture, we call that the caption. Now we have here the main image or cut. So a main story in a newspaper or magazine relating to the picture on the front cover. So since it's since the issue there is basically AI, so I have nothing against that. So whatever could be agreed. Now is the jump line. So the jump line, it's a directional line at the end of the first part of a divided story or article in a newspaper. So we do have here something that could be continued on page 3. So if there is like continue to page blah, blah, this is an example of so example continued on page 3 of being independent. Yeah, that is an example. So we have here a jump line, this one. This is the jump line class. So a directional line at the end of the first line. So at the end of the first line, a divided story or article newspaper. So for example, jump line is siya because from B12 ni Agi siya, no? And then it actually has still something to post on. So if you notice, you can see the trend here that it has been like linear. And this is the jump line. So it divides a story or article in a newspaper. Okay, next is we have the backstory or straight line. Okay, we have here, where is our backstory? Backstory. Okay, this one is an example of a box story. So it's like an eagle. And then we have advertisement. Advertisement class, it's so easy to understand because you know if this is an advertisement or not. And also newspaper can get monetized, it can monetize that kind of activity. So that the advertisement, the activity of attracting public attention to a product or business as by paid announcement in newspapers, magazines, or other media. So that's it for the parts of the newspaper, well, features of the newspaper front page in general. So we have the layout and the features of front page of a newspaper. So class, I hope you learned a thing or two from this lecture. And thank you so much for being with me. I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.